Hey, I'm Leanna.
And I'm Leah.
We're the founders of Planfully, an online marketplace to find and book event pros.
And this is our open house, a podcast that highlights event experts and changemakers on a mission to transform the communities around them.
On our first open house, we're inviting you in to talk about
Us. About how we got here, life lessons, and why we're even doing this.
We're out here drinking Appleton. I think Leah needs some more.
The first thing you need to know, we are Jamaicans. Born,
Leah's
partially raised. I was raised. Liana was
born.
But I think it does definitely run in our bloodline as far as,
Entrepreneurship.
the stereotypes
Jamaicans.
of being hard workers, industrious.
They will sell ice to an ice maker.
Literally. But yeah, that's our background. Our parents were also small business owners separately. Your dad had a bakery. My parents had a printery. And I think that laid the groundwork for us wanting to venture into having our own businesses.
Definitely. Also, I majored in like a very creative major, industrial design. And you were inventing stuff. That was basically the major. You just invent crap. And so I just got used to that. I was like, oh, this is dope. Real world. Went into finance. Don't ask me how.
Gotta pay these bills.
Gotta pay the bills. Do not ever go into investment banking. It sucks. It sucks so bad. And I was like, oh, the real world isn't like this.
But the money was good, right?
The money was great. The money was fantastic. Well, not for the first year.
Oh.
I started in the recession. So the first year sucked. Maybe like the third year was good money. And then I was out and moving on to something else.
I moved here from Atlanta. You were already living here. You were doing your finance thing.
Yeah.
I was crashing on your couch / air mattress at one point.
Really?
Yeah. Remember?
You were on an air mattress?
Yeah, at your
I
first
don't
place
remember.
on Atlantic Avenue.
Oh, yes. I do
Yeah.
remember. We're in a
You
studio.
were in a studio, yeah. Fast forward to us both having jobs, real jobs, and time. We started always brainstorming ideas.
Brainstorming all day, every day.
Just finding things in life that could be better.
Yeah.
Which probably speaks a lot more to your background.
Nah, I mean, maybe. But I do think that people deal with problems and they don't even realize they're problems.
True.
The subway, for instance.
Problem. Where are the flying cars that we're supposed to have by now?
People just get used to problems and there doesn't have to be problems. You can always think of solutions.
True. And that brought us to coming up with a solution for a problem that we both had professionally, personally. We saw a real problem with group dining.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound very fantastic now, but at the time we were like, yo, group dining could be so much better.
It's hard to find places and it's treated very differently from individual dining.
Specific to New York, though, especially, I think it's a very unique place because you're dealing with smaller restaurants and you're dealing with higher price points because New York rent is high. Here, it's a beast in and of itself.
Yeah.
But that said, we did create a solution for group dining. And about last summer, we realized that, well, one, it wasn't a true solution, but two, the idea we had could actually apply to larger groups, which would equate to more money and it would be more scalable. And that brings us to
Planfully. So in between, thank you for the sound effect.
You're welcome.
In between, as we were planning these small groups, I got married. We started inching up to like larger and larger groups. We planned our 40th birthday. That was major. Best 40th birthday ever.
We have the video to prove it.
And it's so hard to plan.
So hard.
And we're like, yo, if these small, this is a little bootleg, but I think I meant to say large, events are having this issue, then screw the small events.
Yeah. And I mean, really, like the same issue, venue, vendors, making it special. Like it's literally the same thing, just on a larger scale.
Sorry to the small guys, but we'll come back.
We'll be back. We'll be back. We just had to pivot real quick.
We got to make some money.
Yeah.
So, Planfully, we're helping connect event planners with vendors more efficiently. Vetted vendors that are dope.
High level. Sky level.
Best of the best. Yeah, and so we're on that road now in development. Excited about it. If you're a vendor, hit us up.
What would you say, based on all that we did with Group Out, what we've learned so far with Planfully, what's your biggest takeaway or lesson as it relates to running a startup or trying to get a startup off the ground?
This is a loaded question for me because I started with all these high hopes. I was like, yo, I'm going to do this. I'm going to kill it. I was an investor at one point. Not me personally, but I worked for an investor. I ain't got money like that. And they were investing, and all of these founders are like, not that smart. Not to down the founders, but I expected more. And I was like, yo, if they can do it, I can do it. I'm going to do it.
Believe in yourself.
Definitely do that, but also but also do the mental work, because there's a lot of resistance that you give yourself when you start something. There's all these reasons why you can't do it, and you actually start believing that, and you have to talk yourself out of that. You don't have to believe the voices in your head. There's a constant like, oh, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you thinking?
And on top of the voice in your head are the people outside your head that will say that too.
Right.
So it's like double whammy.
It's double whammy. But for me, the voices in my head were stronger. Because like I can discount somebody's opinion, but I couldn't discount my own. And I had to learn to like control that, like switch it off.
Yeah.
Start believing in myself.
Flip the switch.
Yeah. All day, every day. What about you? What was your biggest lesson?
Biggest lesson so far, and maybe what I'm still learning, is it's one thing to have the idea. It's a whole nother ball game to execute the idea.
Execute.
Yeah. And the
execute us.
I think I saw a quote recently that said, the magic is in the work you're trying to avoid. And literally startups are all that. Yeah.
That is, yes.
That's where the magic is.
And yes again.
Literally, like, there are things you won't know. There's things that are going to, they're going to take all the time you have, the time you don't even think you have.
Everything is hard.
Everything is hard. And you just have to do it. There's so much reward on the other side of that. Like, if you can get it done, figure out how to get it done, see the light, it will take you through. And the second thing I do want to say is that you can't listen to everybody. And that kind of speaks to Liana's point of, or your point. Why am I saying Liana like it's third person?
It's me.
Yeah.
I'm right here.
It goes to your point of even having to cancel out yourself. And I find that with us, especially being women founders, there are going to be so many people who will know what you need to do to get your idea done.
And everyone has a different journey.
Right. And you know what? You may not even be right, but you do need to go through the work of figuring it out and making that mistake and learning from it and getting to a place of being right.
Trust your instinct. Yeah.
Trust your perspective. I heard that too recently.
True that.
So we've been head down working for a while.
On the grind for a minute.
Yep. And, based on all that, we've come to a realization that, one, we do need to share more, but also there are other people doing the same thing as us, head down, learning, falling, getting up, that have some things to say.
And we can learn from each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of people out there who have this fallacy of startups or business being like immediate successes, and that's just not true. Don't believe the hype.
What's that other quote? It takes 10 years to be an overnight success. If that ain't the truth.
It's persistence that always wins.
And so that brings us to Planfully's open house. We're hoping to speak to particularly women like us doing the same things, trying to get businesses off the ground, trying to get movements off the ground, who have a lot to share with the world, and there's just so much that we could learn from them.
A whole lot.
A whole lot.
And I hope that you can still connect with people who are going through the same journey you are. Later.
Okay. Oh, wait. How does Cardi B say?
Okay. That's hilarious. Okay.
All right.
What are we talking about? Thanks for listening to Planfully's Open House. Let us know what you think and subscribe. If you have any recommendations, questions, or need some event planning help, hit us up at team@planfullyevents.com. And we're on the gram at planfully.events. special thanks to the internets for teaching me how to start a podcast. This is Planfully, reminding you to celebrate life. Till next time.